Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron here, New Life Pentecostal Church, Albany, Georgia. This is a copy of the New Life of Albany Church Bylaws. Now, you might be saying, why are you showing a copy of this? Friend, I just want to tell you, the church is a spiritual organism. Unfortunately, the government is the government. The government is the government. And so we have to do things according to the laws of the land. And it's been said, you never need bylaws till you need bylaws. Till you need them. And so there's basically three different ways churches are set up in the United States of America. One is to go through and get your own 501c3. And this is a very long process with the IRS. It takes about 18 months. We went through the process when we started another church near the Atlanta, Georgia area. And it lets you have nonprofit status. The church is not subject to the taxes that come in, people giving tithes, offerings, making donations to the churches. It's just able to distribute those things to the community and for the work of God all around the world with no taxes being taken out. Now, the second way is for the church to be under an organization that is 501c3. And then they get the 501c3 of that particular organization. That's how we're set up. I'm a minister in the United Pentecostal Church International. And so we get tax break from that. We're nonprofit because of that, not paying property taxes and on and so forth. Now, if for some reason you ever have to go to court, your church ever has to go to court, they're not going to look at how you've always done things. They're not going to look at anything. They're going to look at your bylaws. I've had several cases of people that I knew that had to go to court for various things, various reasons, and God forbid that ever happens in your case or my case. But I've known it happen. And all the judge looks at, he listens to everybody and he says, well, according to this, so this is how you run your church. Now, your church should be incorporated. Now, why should your church be incorporated with the state that you're in? It only costs about $35 a year with the Secretary of State here in the state of Georgia to do that. And that is so if, let's say, something horrible happened at your church. You had a child molester there, and that's going on all over America. I talked to the good folks at Church Mutual, who we use for our insurance. There are many good, Philadelphia, Liberty, several good church insurance companies. Try to get one that's AAA rated, so they'll pay if something actually happens to you. But talking to the good folks at Church Mutual, they do so many good things with seminars and things, helping out local churches. They said that that's endemic, that's rampant in the United States of America. Well, let's say, the unfortunate happens and somebody goes to sue the church. Well, if you're not incorporated, then they will sue the pastor, the trustees, the board members, and maybe every member in that church. If it happened in their youth thing, they'll sue the youth minister and any youth chaperones. If it happened in the nursery, they'll sue the nursery and everybody associated with the nursery. So when you're incorporated, what this does is indemnifies the corporation. The corporation has to take the brunt of that and not the individuals within the corporation. And the third way churches are set up in the United States of America, you've got them either your own 501c3 or under a church organization, parachurch organization, 501c3, is just under the Constitution of the United States of America. And I've got several friends that do that. And, they're just First Amendment. No laws establishing a religion. And the Establishment Clause works both ways. That the church can't enforce its will on the government except through the ballot box. If there's worldwide revival, then we vote. Politics is upstream of culture, that famous Breitbartian statement. And I may do a video on that one day. But it also, the government can't interfere with the church. So there's many people that just go on that. Now, I do know some folks that have gone a fourth route. And that route is they pay taxes, and they just make the church like a business. And the reason they do that is so they can have unrestrained freedom of speech. And, you know, there's supposed to be a rider to this last bill that didn't get on there, this last tax bill, 2017. And it was to allow churches to endorse political candidates, because they're not allowed to do that, according to the IRS, because that goes from freedom of speech into political speech. But so they just go ahead and they pay all the taxes and everything, and you run the church like a corporation, and that way they have unmitigated freedom of speech. And depending on how morality in America goes and certain of the politics upstream from culture goes, we all might be in that boat before very long. But, you know, we've had politicians get up and speak at our church and that type of thing, and it's a very fine line. And there's many churches in America that go into, you know, they have people, presidential candidates, and they're kind of endorsing them. That's actually illegal to do. So bylaws, get you a good set of bylaws. You can find some online. You can find some other places. God bless you. I'll talk with you later in Jesus' name. Amen.